So the block for the claw is out of the paint shop, and that's what it's looking like. Bottom wasn't finished, so yeah. And it got 2 coats of acrylic, and then I dropped it on the floor when it was wet, and it got all kinds of debris stuck in the clear coat. So I had to let it dry and sanded it back with 400, and then I shot it with 2 more coats, and because of the sanding back, it's looking pretty smooth, and I haven't had to sand or polish or buff or anything like that, and I think it's ready to go. Good enough. So, here we go. Alright, screw spacing on this claw is clocking in at right around 30 millimeters. Two 2.6. So you remember this? We want this one right here. 83.5 from the screws to the end of the block. $83.5. Might have too much on here. Sorry for the delay, I'm trying to get rid of the excess. I think I've got it down to a manageable amount. Maybe spread it around a little bit with something. This is the stuff I left the cap off, so it's slow drying anyway. Well, I was using these claw screws to tap the block holes, and they're really kind of hating life. Seen better days. They got fat shanks and not a lot of thread on them. So I'm thinking I'm going to replace them, and not with claw screws, because they're just, it's cheap metal and stuff, so.
I'm going to go away and draw this off camera because quite...
Instant drying paint. These are already in the paint shop waiting to go for another build. They're the next screws off of the new body for the curved triangle. And since I just put two gold ones in to dry, I can just take these two gold ones out and use them. Then again, maybe not. These were squirted on the ends, but not necessarily on the sides. Whereas those other ones I just did, I squirted them on the sides specifically because they would be visible. So I'll wait for the other ones to dry. Everything except for the very point is gold. I decided to give the claw a fresh coat of paint. I'm gonna give the springs a fresh coat of paint as well. While I'm waiting for stuff to dry, I tried something new. Instead of putting wax on the screw and then putting it in, I packed the end of the hole with wax and then put the screw in dry. And it actually seems to work a little better. Because that way, you know, when you put wax on a screw and then you put it in, a lot of times you end up with a big pile of wax on the surface around the screw. And while the wax on the screw does help the situation, it's also kind of messy that way. This way you actually get a lot of wax into the hole, and you don't get a whole lot of anything on the outside edge. That even shows up on the camera. Yeah, so that's after pulling the screws back out, and I haven't like wiped it off or anything, and you've only got just, you know, really nothing. No wax to speak of on the surface, so yeah, that seems to work better. I think I'm gonna try to use that technique. Instead of waxing screws, I'm gonna pack holes with wax, assuming I remember to do it. Well, I don't know, I think I'm just trying to keep myself busy, but stuff's almost dry, probably dry by now. I decided I was going to wax the fretboard. I've done this once or twice. It does have a good effect, so. Just smear a little on and give a couple minutes to set up. And just buff it out by hand with the tissue. Okay, got the wax all buffed off. Took a little bit of, I don't know, I think it's 400 here or something like that. And just kiss these guys one more time, smooth them out. Well, you can sort of see a little of the grain in it again here. I was actually considering sanding back the entire fretboard in order to kind of lighten it up a bit, maybe, so that you could see some of the wood grain a little bit better, but yeah, that's what it looks like after the waxing. And it's real smooth now, so yeah, real smooth. baby's bottom smooth. Definitely what a player would like in a fretboard, the feeling here. Yeah. The wax actually seems to have sort of dried out the board compared to the mineral oil. So I'm going to go ahead and put on another application of mineral oil. And the green is starting to show a little bit. This thing's probably just really, really dirty or something. Probably should have given it a good cleaning with naphtha first. Maybe I did, I don't even remember. Anyway, you get the idea. This is after the polishing with the oil, the wax and then the oil. Mineral grade, USP grade mineral oil. And yeah, it makes it real shiny. Real shiny. Well, I'm sure the claw hardware is dry by now. I can put the bridge on. Needs a little adjustment there. The action's looking pretty good though. I just kind of like eyeball guessed it. I think I got footage earlier. I had a straight edge trying to guess the saddle height here for the bridge posts. So yeah, slap the rest of them on. As I get more strings on, I can put more springs on. Kind of balance the one against the other. Tuning this puppy up though is going to be interesting. There's no way to lock it from doing a dive bomb, which is what you need to do in order to lock it into a hardtail. So yeah, I guess I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, back and forth. Now you can usually do it in like 3 or 4 passes. You tune everything like a little sharp. And you just go bottom to top and just run through it about 3 times, tuning everything sharp. Because as you're pulling these guys into tune, you're pulling the whole thing up a little bit usually. And And so these guys will tend to go flat, ones that you've already visited. And so you do that about 3 times, eventually you'll get there. Okay, 2 of the screws are on. I mean, strings, yeah, right. And I loosened these guys up, and the neck immediately relaxed into perfect alignment. So then I just tightened them back up again, and yeah, looking good. So I think part of what it was that, if you recall, the neck was kicked this way, and so I had just these 2 strings on, and when I loosened it up, the strings pulling on this side of the neck made it pull in that direction in order to get things nice and straight. Okay, all 6 strings are on, fired up to close to tuning tension. Then I set the bridge height, and it's looking like it's going to be pretty good, but it needs to have the truss rod adjusted. It's got a ton of relief in it at the moment. But I was able to get the action at this end good, and the action at that end's good, so all I need to do is take out that excess relief. In order to do that, I've gone ahead and loosened up each of the tuners by 5 half turns, and I went ahead and put a couple more twists on the claw screw to tighten that up, because it's going to need a little bit more once it gets back under tension to bring this thing up level with the strings. And yeah, that's about where it's at. It's good weather, so I'm going to go play with my truck for a while. So I think I'm going to stop recording in order to save battery, and because it would, if it's just pause, the battery would go dead before I get done playing with the truck. So I'm going to stop recording, and maybe I can append more, maybe not. So this might be the end of an episode, it might not. So there you go. Okay, I put a lot of back bow into it, and that's gotten it flat as far as like the notch says. But this thing says I've got relief still, so I think I'm going to keep going, because I'm more worried about the fret plane than I am the actual neck, the fretboard, the top of the fretboard, fingerboard. See, that says I've still got relief, because it wiggles. I'm putting it on the first and last fret, and it's wiggling. But this thing, slap it on, 2nd fret, put a light under it, and everybody's looking real flat. So I'm going to get the frets as flat as I can. I think I'll go with that. So it's got still too much relief, even though the fretboard's now technically flat. I'm going to crank on it more. Okay, had to crank the heck out of it, but relief's almost all gone. Might actually be able to, might be a little bit too much cranking. Maybe half turn less, not even. I was down to like this kind of thing. It's got like 10 turns on it already. somewhere between there and where I just was. Alright, I'm going to try that. It's got a little relief. Okay, I've been going back and forth playing with the tension, the bridge height, and the claw screws, and it's all good now. It's actually tighter than tuning tension. It's probably, you know, a semitone sharp on each string at least, and the bridge is flat, nice and parallel with the string, so the claw's all adjusted upright. Never did need any shims in here. Everything's tight there. String alignment's good, ear left to right, so the neck's straight this way. And yeah, and action's looking, got the action adjusted so it's looking real nice, so yeah. So all I got to do is just loosen up the tuners a little bit and drop it down into tuning, because right now it's actually overstrung a little bit, and at that point I might actually need to loosen up the claw screws just a tad, but wait and see. So yeah, it's pretty much dialed in. Once I get it into tuning, then that's it acoustically, and then I can proceed with adding the electronics and the swing bar and the strap locks and the usual suspects. Lost the number 6 string. Time to fish up another one. Pretty much everything else is all tuned up though, so. This is probably actually a good place to call it an episode. I'll put this last string on, finish getting it tuned up, and then in the next episode I'll start on a swing bar for it. Once you get a swing bar in place, then you know where you plumb your electronics, so then you can do the electronics. Once you get your pickup in place, then you can fit a depth pick guard to the guitar. And I guess I'm going to be making a new swing bar and a new depth pick guard to match all the rest of the body, because I mean all the rest of it's looking real nice, so if I got the parts, why not? So it might take a few more days in order to stain and clear coat everything, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. So yeah, I'll get this ready, and I guess I'll see you in the next episode when I start. Actually, I might have some cutoff that's already appropriate, and I won't have to fab something up. So until then, everybody, have a good one.